All right, St. Mary's Cemetery. The Italian families here and Irish families down there. A little bit. Antonio, my grandfather, Nana, and they're in the same place. A lot of Italians and Polish and Irish descent. The room we were in, that's where we rehearsed with the New Britain Symphony. And from there, we went and performed on the stage during the tribute to Conrad Gosling.
I see it every morning when I come in. That's why you said it. Remind me of it.
I didn't know it was here.
I got goosebumps.
Well, every year we print out.
So this is Hart Street, New Britain, where my mom lived with her 2 sisters and 2 brothers, and my grandfather. When my mom was 5, her mom, Josephine O'Brien, passed away. And then my dad, I think, was on Hart Street with his mom, Nana. And of course they met. I lived there for a year. My dad was teaching in high school, got the job at Holy Cross. We moved in 1948 to Auburn, Massachusetts. The Coos, Bob Coos. That's him. Won the national championship in 1947 when they defeated Oklahoma. Yeah, my dad knew him. He knew the guys on the team, and he invited the team over to the house for spaghetti dinner in Auburn. They all came over after they won the NCAA championship. Campus Center is where I performed with my dad in a small ensemble at the reunion. And I believe that was 1994, 1995, somewhere around that time. He did his last appearance here with his band on top of campus. And the night before, the small group played in here, and I played with him there. And that's where his archives are, in that library. I believe this is the area where my dad's office was in this location. So he had windows that looked out onto the street, Linden Lane and the library. Saw some tremendous games, some tremendous athletes. Played with the band in the stands, and I got old enough to perform on the field with the band. The four of us, very close friends. One of my friends lived over in that neighborhood, probably in one of those houses, so we used to go there first and then bring our sleeping bags over here. And this was not far from where I used to live. This was also where my paper route was. And I had some friends that lived on this street. And down the end of the street was this big sand pile. The telegram was in the morning, which the telegram I delivered on the other side of town, which the Gazette was the afternoon paper I delivered here. There's the Congregational Church. The remarkable thing about this was that we used to sneak in and go up to the turret and ring the bell, and then of course leave quickly. Every one of us went to this school. It was in the morning, and I remember being on my route, and somewhere in that yard over there, I had seen a vision of Jesus. And I was young at the time, but it just struck me that I thought what looked like the image of Jesus, early morning hours. And it always struck me how, for some reason, Jesus appeared to me. And I don't know, I just remember this thing was right around here. And this is where I learned to play basketball, right here. That addition to the church has been there since the 50s. And that's where we had our Friday night dances. My dad was a trustee of this library. If you looked straight ahead at the driveway over there was a grove of pine trees. And my dad would set up a TV, put some wood frame, put the TV on it, and he'd have a hammock in that grove area, and we would watch the Red Sox play on TV. Now that was our family home, center entrance, Dutch colonial. On the right is the sun parlor. All right, this is our backyard. If you look over there, we used to play football here, and those were apple trees, and alongside the house there were peach trees. And this hill over here is where I learned to ski. I would be playing football out here on Saturday mornings, throwing football up in the air, running around. My dad would come out on the porch, second floor porch, says, "Okay, ready to leave." I go running in. My dad and I would go to Holy Cross to see rehearse the band, and then go to the football game. I would sit in that sunroom when I was in elementary school, and I would walk home for lunch. My mom would have a tray with my lunch on it, and I used to watch Big Brother Bob Emery at noontime. Sometimes I was surprised. My dad would come home for lunch, take a break from Holy Cross, come home, have lunch with me. Every Halloween, this home straight ahead would have warm apple cider. Straight ahead of us is Mount Nowadik. To the right, you go to Amherst Center. That's the clubhouse, and on the front porch, the Hamlets performed for a little gathering there in the middle of summer. My dad's name is on one of the plaques up there. This is a coffee shop where the Elysian Spring got together for a mini reunion in 2019. Straight ahead, those are the Blue Hills, and this is where we lived for 10 years. Now we're heading Route 9 west towards Hadley. Performed on this campus 1970-71. Originally it was a trio, got expanded to a quartet and finally to a quintet, which I was part of. And we're going to actually go to a place where we performed a couple of times, Bowker Auditorium. Also another performance hall while I did my senior recital there. Straight ahead you see Old Chapel. Behind it is the library. That was the original library. I used to go and visit my mom there. She used to work for the librarian, the main librarian. The heart of the music department. Originally it was the Massachusetts School of Agriculture. As you can see, it's an expansive campus, and over here is the agricultural department. Yes, is he still around?
I don't know if he's currently in the building. He's usually.
It's the music librarian at the time, Andy Haig.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote some really nice album notes for us.
Now, who are you on here?
I am right there, trumpet player. Also played bass in the group.
Cool. Consists of this and this box. So contact sheets, negatives, interviews. More interviews.
And it could have been the UMass radio station, or it could have been something in Northampton. Recorded these sessions using studios equipment, and then the others were obtained directly from live concerts. We're fortunate to have been recorded. It consisted of close to 600 copies, the original pressing. And this was the heart of the music department. I spent thousands and thousands of hours in this exact space because I was in the orchestra, I was in the symphony band, I was in the marching band. The jazz ensemble that I started as a student registered organization would meet here. It took them a while to figure out how to improve the acoustics, putting stuff on the walls. Same thing happened at Amherst College. The performance area was a similar concrete structure with a stage. I continued teaching, did my job as an assistant, but I was also focusing on my graduate recital, which was to be the first trumpet graduate recital for the music department ever. And I wrote sketches, 3 pieces for piano, alto sax, and trumpet. I completed it, rehearsed it. I rehearsed for my graduate recital. I memorized all of my music. I tried to get the music department to incorporate the jazz workshop, the jazz program that I was starting. And I registered both years, my junior year, senior year, I registered at the University Jazz Workshop. After I graduated, and I went to graduate school through the spring of 1970. The next year, they incorporated the jazz program into the music department. Symphony orchestra, symphony band, concert band, mass marching band, the choir, the chorus, quintets, the jazz ensemble. This was the place. This is actual photograph of me performing at the Cabot Street Cinema Theater and Le Grand David, his own spectacular magic company. I did a trumpet solo on a E flat trumpet. Eventually I wrote my own piece of music, performed on a B flat trumpet, but that's me bending over backwards. I'm supposed to be dressed up as a kind of a bullfighter, matador. Actual old theater, can you believe this? All that is the original. I remember working on this floor when we first got it, and we became stagehands, and we learned everything there was about theater. The old one used to be we used to lift it by hand. Part of the magic show for 10 years, and all of this is the same, and they haven't changed any of this. The acoustics, you hear my voice? This is great. And then the other machine, you take and rewind that reel and get the next reel up. So you had to do all of that. A very magical place. I hate to use that term over and over again, but there's no other way to describe it. From over there, the dressing room, come over here, walk up the ladder, rest on this plywood, take a deep breath for about 30 seconds, and then as soon as I heard the music cue, I would pop up. It's the stairs. I would come down. Oh, I'd be here waiting. This was like the waiting room. The furnace was there, and there was a little walk around. It was a pit, and I'd be here doing my final warm up. I would go up there, take my place to go on stage. Yeah. Be blackout. I'd go to center stage, and that was it. Very turbulent water, fast-moving water, 300 plus feet deep. Out there, Long Island Sound. That has been open forever, and actually they're open now. my mom's sitting right here, and I would go out. I was very young, and I would go out a little bit, and I'd turn and make sure she was looking at me. She'd wave at me, and I'd go and I'd swim a little bit, and I'd get up and I'd look at her to see if she was looking at me, and she would wave at me. She used to sit here and watch me so carefully.